Hello, my name is David Wiggins. I'm the author of Halfpennyman. This is my lovely wife, Diane,
Hello.
and we're back again to encourage people to follow us on our journey. This is a particularly what we think is an interesting journey. It's certainly one that took some sort of courage more than thought. Um, we we lived in the UK. Basically, brought up in England, and life was pretty good. There was a teacher in high schools in the UK, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've mentioned on a previous video that really I never found a child I didn't like. Some kids were a bit sort of difficult, and they might have done things outside of school that they mentioned that I wouldn't have agreed with. But in general terms, I've liked them all. I have liked every one of them. Now, why the journey? Well, you come to retirement, and it's something that you talk about as though it's a long way off. Is that right, Diane?
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
it's a long way off.
It creeps up.
Yeah, and before you know it, you've gone through your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, and then your 50s, and then all of a sudden you get to this thing where you're at retirement age, and it really comes as a bit of a shock, doesn't it? It really does sort of, wow, I'm nearly retired, and the age was going to be 65. The government kindly put another year on that, so made it 66. And of course, it still comes. You still come to this age, and people say, "Oh, you're retired, Dave." What? And of course, we're fairly sort of, pragmatic, philosophical sort of people. I mean, we sort of think, well, surely you've got to do something now. You don't just stop. It doesn't say, "Oh, this is retirement," and stop. You've got to do something. And we'd always talked about coming to Australia. And Diane was actually born in Australia, but her parents came here as what used to be called in the terms of £10 poms in the late 1950s. And of course, sadly, they went back. Her mother became homesick, and they went back to the UK. And that's your story, isn't it? In a nutshell. My own particular story was. I was born in Stoke-on-Trent, but brought up in Kent. My parents had, were sort of ordinary people, just went to work. I remember my father was an electrician, and my mother worked in a local shop, corner shop. And so it was a pretty normal upbringing. But like I say, I've had this sort of fixation, with books. And I just used to love them. I used to love reading books, all of them. It wasn't really a book I didn't really like. And I just, got really into books, reading. And it's been part of me, but not me. I've had, other jobs. And like I say, eventually, teaching, and then I did special needs teaching. You sort of did you sort of notice that when I sort of got older, the jobs I was offered always involved kids that were deemed to be difficult.
Yeah, very complex.
Yeah. Complex cases. And I worked for a while for Barnardo's, and their children obviously being kept in homes, and then being educated there on the site at Barnardo's, and and very sort of challenging behaviour from kids, but they're still kids. I still can't get my head around how people dislike kids or hate kids or whatever it is. They all seem nice to me, be rude and this, but I found adults can be that. And so it's I've been very open-minded with it and thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thank everybody out there that might say, I remember Mr. Wiggins, and you know, it's a very positive thing. I'm chuffed about it, to tell you the truth. And Barnardo's was definitely the highlight of my career, even though I finished there and I actually went to work in a college and then finally and ended up basically back in high schools, usually, like I say, with the special needs kids. Um, and you know, it's just been great. But anyway, what about this trip to Australia? And you being an Aussie and I'm being well, you're a dual national, as they say. But you know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yes, it's been a great adventure, and we had thought about making this move for a long time.
yeah,
And sometimes you just think about doing something, but you never actually do it. So
yeah,
it's like living the dream, and we are living the dream. We're in now what we'd dreamt about
well, what we thought about, yeah,
thought about many,
yeah,
many years
yeah,
ago. And now it's happened,
mm,
and it's a great adventure.
yeah. But I mean, this is not a video about encouraging people to emigrate to Australia or New Zealand or anywhere else you can possibly think of. This is about just changing your life and being more positive, taking a positive attitude towards things. And it's difficult at times like this. And I think that that's part of where we come from, isn't it? It's that in the end, we got rid of all our furniture. We lived in a town called Cheltenham. And we sort of got rid of all our furniture, sold our cars, and basically put everything that we wanted to keep into a lockup in Cheltenham, and everything else went into 3 suitcases. There's one for Diane, one for myself, and one for our son Zach. And we just got on by plane tickets and one-way plane tickets to this place called Melbourne, and it just seemed to be a good idea at the time. You know, it seemed to be. It's what we talked about, and there's a point, like I say, when you've had enough of talking, action is needed, and so that was it. We came here, and um, we're in a state called Victoria. It's a lovely place. I mean, it is absolutely beautiful place, and the people are so friendly. Don't you find it? I mean, I know you've been talked about or told about Australians all your life from your dad and things like that. But what do you think? Does it live up to it?
Yeah. Well, when we first got here in Victoria and we settled ourselves, we connected ourselves to some church family, and that opened the doors for us to make those connections and helped us really to know what to do, because obviously there's a minefield out there. There's bank accounts, there's phones, you've got to change the numbers, there's all sorts
SIM
of things.
cards and all the things that you're thinking you have to change those, and then of course the sheer paperwork of even of Diane, who has a Australian birth certificate and an Australian passport. You have to fill out this and get a tax number and all. I mean, there is such a multitude of things that obviously you have to do. But like I say, they're all very doable. It is extremely doable. And of course, one of the benefits, of course, with Australia in that easy part is that, of course, they speak English. And so, of course, that is the first thing, that all the forms come in English. So that is fairly straightforward, isn't it? But they have a great attitude. I mean, I sort of go on, and every time you go into a shop or anything like that, how you doing? How's things? Good on you. And they just have a much more positive. I think that because people have come here themselves, or their ancestors came here, they came here because they wanted to be here and to make a new life. And I think that's partly what we're trying to say. It's like I say, it doesn't matter where you go, it's your frame of mind. I'm certain that we could have had this frame of mind in the UK, but things in the UK have got a bit weird. And although I say in a previous video we've done, I don't want to get at all political. This is not about politics. This is about people. And we need to sort of, reassess ourselves as we have done, and think of what is our priorities and what things are good and what things are bad, and basically what is truth and what are lies. And that is basically it, isn't it? We've had these children, our own children that we've had as brought up, but I mean I've been teaching children for a very long time, and that is what I always have said to them in the classroom. Is that this is the truth, this is a lie. This is my opinion, but it might not be yours. And these are the things that I wanted to sort of embellish on this sort of video where we're going with this. Now, of course, the point behind and behind me in the little poster that's behind me, I don't think you may have to see it, but it's how I started to write a book. The Forgotten Children was the first one. It came into my head obviously a good while ago. I said maybe 2017, 2018, something like that. And excuse me. And it came basically as three dreams. And then I've sort of thought about it, and it's taken a while because, like I say, I was busy teaching, and but then after that, of course, I've thought about other things that I've enjoyed. The book Whatever Next, which is 5 little comedy stories. I mean, they are the comedy stories that I've always sort of had in me. They're funny, they're cheeky, they're not rude. I don't use expletives in there. There's no need for it. Good comedy never did need it. You just need to make people laugh, and I hope that, like I say, you enjoy that. And I think it's a lovely little book. And then I got into one of my favourites is science fiction. And you've known this, Diane. I mean, I do like my sort of Star Wars, and I always was a big fan of Doctor Who. Red Dwarf was always a classic. Dave Lister, and these are the sort of joys. And but also there's a thing where I'd like things like Greek mythology and things like that. So of course to write a book and where you can do science fiction, Greek mythology, and then also put in a moral story within it of a boy who saw something very strange happen. Some people disappeared, a couple disappeared, and then basically called a liar when he tries to warn people. And that resonated with me. That sort of thing, it resonated with me. And I've got the book here, Sam Draper and Dark Light. I use the thing Halfpennyman because Halfpennyman was the way I was going to denote myself as a writer of child's fiction. And so any book like Sam Draper there and Dark Light or Whatever Next, the words Halfpennyman and then AKA, which is obviously also known as David Wiggins. But that was the idea. So that because I soon then realised that I wanted to write also for an adult. I'm not just a child writer. I've enjoyed books both as a child and as an adult. And so, of course, that's just the point, is that if it's got David Wiggins on it, it's for an adult, but it's also, for the family members to read. It's if you see where I'm coming from, that was, the difference between why I'm Halfpennyman and why I also use David Wiggins to separate children's books, which are the Halfpennyman. They're purely children's books. But saying that, of course, anybody can read them. I don't write children's books where it's for a little toddler. Children to me have always been anybody that was under the age of basically 18, and that's the way I saw it. I was a high school teacher. They're kids. I was teaching children. They might be quite big, and some of them were bigger than me, but I mean, nevertheless, that's what it was. So anyway, Diane, the move down here. I mean, obviously, the strangest thing is now Christmas, isn't it? We're coming up to Christmas. It is um, halfway through December, and I mean, it is absolutely scorching hot out there.
Yeah, we're actually baking here now. I can tell you, we've got light kind of shirts and t-shirts, and just like loose stuff on, and like I don't know, I just feel really hot at the moment. And yeah, it's so odd. We're so used to freezing to death in the UK, and coming up towards Christmas, and of course in Australia they still want to keep the theme going of, you know, a Christmas tree, snowmen and things like that. So that's all around, and reindeers, and it's all, you know, in the supermarkets and things like that. So
yeah, but when you say snowmen, I mean they're dressed in a costume. They don't actually make any snowmen because there's no snow. I mean, you know, we had the winter here, which is of course summertime in the UK. So June, July, and August here is winter, and I mean there was no snow. There was a bit of air frost on some days. They didn't have any ground frost. It did get cold, chilly, but I mean there wasn't a lot of rain. It's like now. I mean, you know, we've moved now from the spring. Now we're in the summer, and we're in this sort of thing of December and January and February are the summer here, and it just gets hotter and hotter. I mean, you know, I mean, people sort of say to us, you know, they sort of warn you and say, "Oh, it's only 33 today." And by the weekend, next weekend, you'll more than likely reach 37, 38. And then by the time you step into January, which is midsummer here, the month of midsummer, you'll be into 40, 42, 43, 44. And you think, oh, blimey. I mean, we never even dreamt of that. I mean, we would have a holiday in the UK, and of course we would go to the south of Spain, or we'd go to Florida to get that experience of that warmth, didn't we? In California we went to, you know, we went places where it was going to be nice. I mean, but here it's just strange because it's the opposite way round. It's all those years of conditioning yourself that Christmas is cozy, we're inside. I mean, okay, I'd love a log fire, but we never had a log fire in Cheltenham. We had a gas central heating, but I mean, you had everything on. It was nice and warm, and of course, that part of that Christmassy thing. Now here, as I say, here we are with, you know, just a week away now from Christmas, and it's scorching, absolutely boiling out there. You know, it's great. It's a lovely experience. It is really a good experience. I'm so glad we're here. Right, now back to the books. What I'm trying to do is to try to promote myself, which is independently published through Amazon. Now, I know that this is a difficult thing. You know, I'm naive on a lot of things about publishing, and I'm not a publisher. As I say, I'm a teacher. But I'm trying to get my head around how we do these things. And I watch a lot of people on YouTube and things like that, and they sort of give us hints and they give us ideas of how you promote yourself. Obviously, we went down the first thing of Facebook. We had a Facebook account, so we'd use that to sort of keep in contact with family and that. But it's very difficult to sort of say to people that we're out there, and I am finding that. I'm finding it difficult to understand. So we're now sort of using Facebook to connect friends. So if you're watching this video and you're from the UK, or you're in the USA, or you know, in Australia, but anywhere around the world, that, you know, if you can just hang on to this thingamajig of that, I'm called Halfpennyman. Halfpennyman.com is my website, and if you can go to that website, you will see my life story and the books, the 4 books that I have at the moment. I actually have just one of the books I've translated whatever next, the 5 comedy stories. I've translated it now into German. Now I don't know why I did that. I don't even speak German, but Google said you could download the manuscript, and they would translate it into German. So that's what I've done. But of course, as I say, this is just a journey. This is what I'm hoping that people will sort of look at us and think, yeah, they're just having a go. It's a new beginning, even though obviously we're older, but it doesn't make any difference, and it should never make any difference to you. Your life doesn't stop until your heart does, basically. You know what I'm saying? Have a good life, enjoy life, make plans, and hopefully, like I say, get to a stage where you live that dream that you don't have to be a retired person like us to have the dream, do you?
No.
You could have the dream when you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40, 50. You get the gist.
Mm.
So all we're saying is just keep an open mind. Remember what really matters to us all, as each other, friends, relatives, of course. They are what matter. But as I said, we must not forget that truth really matters. Lies must always be uncovered, and basically a good life is all available to us all, but we have to work hard on it. Whatever your work is, and I don't mean that in general terms of just labor. I mean work is that you have to have, with your families, with your friends, your school, colleges, university. It's all about work. That is part of it. But we do well. We're a good social animal, human beings, and we like to interact. We like things, and it's good for us. Whatever your background, wherever you come from, it is good for us to interact with others. I hope you enjoy this video. Like I say, we're going to go and cool off now, which basically means sit down and keep out of the sun. It's the end of the day now here in Victoria. I hope you enjoy this video.
I just wonder if you could show them your other book as well.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah, the Forgotten Children. If you can see this book, like I say, it's available on Amazon. I do so much love that little book, Mandy's Story, I call it, because the little girl inside the story is about a girl called Mandy, and I plan to write a sequel to it next year in 2024. My time between, I suppose, the new year and next summer, or here, the winter, will be spent writing the sequel to that. I want to get Mandy's story into something where I take her from a little girl where she started in the beginning of this one to now where it's just finished, where she's about 11 or 12 years old. Then take her from 11 or 12 years old to being adolescence and teenager, and then finally have one where she becomes a young woman in her 20s, and that will be the third book in a series. The book that I'm working on at the moment now is my life story. So an autobiography. That's what I've been working on. And Diane here is kindly she's the artist. If you've noticed my Pautia book, she did the main character, Bruce Knight, who is the main character in that Pautia. And so Diane, you did the front cover to that. And, thanks very much. Yes, it's lovely.
Yeah. Yes. And yes, it was a pleasure to do that.
Yeah.
An absolute pleasure. And I suppose all we have to ask really is that you continue liking and sharing.
Yeah.
And subscribe to the channel. So don't forget to click that button for your likes.
Yes, please.
You can make comments as well. David, I'm sure you'll
I will get back to anybody that I can. Like I say, I generally want people to sort of interact with what the idea is. Obviously, my idea is to become a writer, and you can see if it becomes successful or not. You'll be able to actually, watch these and watch it through the videos, but also, I will keep you updated on the sales of the books and how things are doing, and so that you can see, if this can be done, if you can actually, start from nothing. Like I say, we arrived here with a suitcase apiece. This is the idea. Is the idea? Let's have a go. What have you got to lose? There isn't, is there? Got everything to gain. So, and that's life. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you, like I say, subscribe to this channel, Halfpennyman channel, and we'll see you soon, won't we? We'll make another one and keep showing you how things are progressing and how we're doing, because at the moment this is just the beginning. Self-published onto Amazon. Our books are out there. I've got 4 books. The 5th one now just gone on there, which is obviously Whatever Next, but in German. And basically, you're a very, very small fish in the Amazon great ocean of books. There is millions and millions of books out there on Amazon and elsewhere. And so how do you actually get to be known? And it's through this. That's what we've been told. Through you, out there, the kind people, thoughtful people, that people are thinking, yeah, it's not bad. They're on a very good journey, Let's see how it goes. Let's watch. And as the videos come along, see how their life has actually changed. It's like a reality program, this, but instead of being a contestant that came from somewhere, we're doing it for real. We're living it for real. So anyway, thank you very much. My name is David Wiggins. This is my wife, Diane. And well, thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you. Bye now.